Hey, what's going on, guys? Jeeps underscore here with another Resident Evil 4 challenge video. In this video, we're going to tackle the extra game modes of Resident Evil 4 in the guide, such as separate ways and assignment Ada, using only strategies from the guide. This took a little while to make because I had to buy a new guide because the guide I bought originally for the first guide video didn't have separate ways in it, but the one that I had to buy came out a year later and had separate ways in it. So in order to do it properly, I had to buy a new guide. Anyways, it's pretty short and simple. You can tell that these parts of the guide didn't get as much love clearly as the main part, but we make do and still have fun with it. So as you know, I usually like to keep my intros short and sweet, so please like and subscribe if you enjoy, and follow me on Twitch if you want to see these challenge videos come to fruition. Enjoy. Dropping off in the village is Ada. Our mission is clear. The notorious mastermind Albert Wesker wants us to retrieve one of the covetous Plaga samples. In Chapter 1, we focus on ringing the church bell in order to call off the large amount of enemies in the pueblo. Yes, the same bell from the beginning of the actual game. We're instantly started off into battle, and the guide warns us a dozen enemies or so will rush at us and that we need to take them out. After they're done for, we head into the two-story building on the right to pick up some handgun ammo and pesetas. Leave the shotgun because Leon needs it more than us, and jump out the window to grab a spindle off of the roof. Now we head back to the entrance of the pueblo to find some shotgun shells and another spindle, and are warned a woman may possibly follow us. But it appears the woman did not. Oh, she's following. She's following. Okay. She's with the program. She's with the program now. She does, very slowly, so we shoot her to gain her rewards. Just a note, it's not as bad in the beginning, but towards the end, a lot of the random drop items aren't really consistent with the guide because they're really heavily random. On our way back to the village, more enemies flood in, so we take our first right to find a building with a flash grenade. Once there, we have to take out all the enemies after us. I'm baffled. Look at this guy, he's so studious! Why did he look so... That dude literally... Both of them just got off the clock! They just got off the clock and had to come deal with the intruder, bro. We climb the tower in the east for shotgun shells, and Leon then becomes entrapped by the chainsaw maniac. A bird flies in, laying what appears to be a key, and we are told to head over to the building and use our grapple gun to reach it. Before we leave, we're told if we have the energy to stop by and grab the elegant mask in one of the bedrooms. We had the energy. We use the insignia key to move on and meet our good pal the merchant. We're told instantly to put our money towards the powerful TMP, but we can't even afford it yet. So I skipped it for now because there are no TMP requirements from the guide before the next merchant, and prioritize buying it as soon as possible. That's going to be a running theme here with this particular guide, which I guess it makes sense because I assume that they assume that you already know pretty much how the game works because you've already beat it and you've already used their strategies for the original game. So yeah, they kind of leave a lot to interpretation. We clear out the room of handgun ammo and fail to watch out for the snake in the box. Snake in the box. I've effectively failed to watch out for it. Run failed. Run failed. I lost. Moving down the hallway, we run all the way to where the passageway opens up, then turn around and take care of the enemies behind us. Then we move back into the hallway to collect the ammo. We got the goodies in the center, and we continue to move forward when more enemies appear in front of us and behind us. We turn around and knock down the enemies behind us so we can run past them back to the open area, and then turn around again to take out all 5 of them before kicking in the metal door and climbing the ladder to the graveyard. The guide wants us to sneak up to the gate to trigger the enemies here and then take them out in the choke point before the gate. The enemies aren't... By the way, Ada's buff as fuck. See you later, buddy. He had brunch plans, I guess. The most responsive, but we take care of them nonetheless. We collect all the items from here, most notably the red gem for the elegant mask, and head up the hill to find more enemies to defeat and a bird's nest to destroy, getting us a green herb. Taking the bridge to the right, we shoot enemies, causing them to fall, and at the end of the bridge is our own chainsaw maniac. While you can't just grab the cat's eye and run, the guide wants us to kill the chainsaw lady as well as her 2 counterparts before heading back up and completing the dial puzzle to obtain the key to the church. Completing the puzzle will cause enemies to rush in that we must take out and then place the green cat's eye into the puzzle in order to escape. Things starting to line up a little bit here. We take out some more enemies at the front of the church for some items and then head inside. Inside the church, we immediately take out the enemies at the altar and get some more ammo. More importantly, we grab a flash grenade and the purple gem for our elegant mask from the eastern corridor. Along the balcony, we take out 3 more enemies and collect their items and then head to the pedestal to solve the puzzle. It literally just says, just turn the blue lens once. I'm pretty sure that's not even right. Well, it says to turn the blue lens once. It doesn't say anything else. That's not right. You turn the blue lens 2 times. This is the first time I noticed that, well, this part of the guide didn't get much love. To solve the puzzle, the guide mentions the portion it has for the main game, rather than telling you how to solve it. Which is fine. It's not that hard. It's just the original puzzle upside down. But it would be fine if it didn't say right under it to just turn the blue one once. Very exclamatory, very excitedly. I even went back and referenced the part in the main guide. And it does say to turn the blue one once in the main guide. But that doesn't work in this puzzle. But we do actually solve the puzzle and complete our first mission, moving us on to chapter 2. The whole idea behind chapter 2 is us rescuing Lewis. We start in the Big Cheese's bedroom with the merchant, and we're able to sell our elegant mask with all 3 pieces combined that we do have, even though we weren't explicitly told to collect the green one. Selling it allows us to finally buy the TMP, which is important because after collecting everything in the house, we encounter a chainsaw maniac that we are instructed to use the TMP to take out. The guide only says we have to take out Mr. Chainsaw for his Ruby and his 2 cohorts behind him. So once we take them out, we run past everybody to the pueblo. Upon return, we are told to head to the bonfire to take out all the new enemies in the pueblo and then take our time to search the area and collect everything we can find before moving on to the farm. According to the guide, there's supposed to be a spindle off to the right when we enter here. Make a note of that for later. We grab the spindle from the bat and proceed to take out the farm enemies with the TMP, watching our ammo closely. We collect our spoils and head to where the beer stein normally is and collect a gold bangle. Watching out for the bear traps, we make our way to the homestead ruin. There's no boulder rush this time, so we just make our way to the bottom and use our TMP to fend off the dynamite wielding enemies with the main goal to take the house in the center. Oh shit! We see our man Leon getting dragged off and our motherly instincts kick in to go save him and Lewis. First though, we head in the house they came out of and collect all the pesetas and take down an angry villager guarding an incendiary grenade. Working our way back is simple. Through the tunnel we take out the first 2 enemies, further items, and then continue up the hill where 4 more enemies will drop on our heads, so we take them out, head up the hill and take out 2 more final enemies before heading back into the farm where the spindle from earlier just like appears. I swear it was not there on the way through, but on the way back it's just there. The pueblo is filled with villagers, but the guide is going to allow us to simply run past them to the exit this time. We save Leon from the big cheese, but unfortunately get captured ourselves. We hit our QTE to narrowly avoid being sacrificed in the villagers' ritual and take out the surrounding goons. There's a treasure chest in here with the green cat's eye for the beer stein in this chapter, but the guy just completely ignores it, so do we. We drop down the hole below and take down the enemies, grabbing their items, and then taking out the 1 enemy on the stairs who we are warned may be harboring a Las Plagas in his head. Upstairs, we grab the iron key on the table and are told to sell our gold bangle, ruby, and any spindles we may have. We also get the yellow herb from the locker and then head down to the bottom of the stairs where we find some rifle ammo and then use the iron key to open the door to the torture shed. Along the right side, we collect a yellow herb and are told to collect the red cat's eye even though we ignored the green earlier. Inside the torture room, we are attacked by another chainsaw lady we have to defeat in order to get the lift activation key for the gondola. Nothing else is explicitly stated we have to grab or kill here until we get back to the stairs to the gondola where we have to take out some enemies there in order to get back to the control room to activate the gondola and hop on it to ride it up. But it said gondola like 5 times in 2 seconds. Once at the top, we head straight forward to collect a spindle, then down the hill to collect some more ammo before being told to head up to the merchant. That's it. It doesn't say to do anything with him, so we say hi and turn around, pulling out our grappling gun to get across the large door in front of us. The beginning of this room consists of us using our grapple gun to collect various items such as a first aid spray and the yellow cat's eye. After collecting the red herb around the corner, we run into El Gigante and our guidance is simple. Wait for an opportunity to run in between his legs and get out of there so we can do some flirting with Lewis and finally close out chapter 2. Chapter 3 starts off with our first true encounter with Leon, and afterwards we get the news Wesker wants us to dispose of Leon as soon as possible. But being Ada and all, we know that won't happen. Continuing to search for Lewis in the sample finds us in the castle courtyard with the merchant. We're told to buy the cool bowgun and also pick up the free bowgun bolts behind the merchant. We go up the stairs and take out the 2 enemies before continuing to round the corner to find a chest with some shotgun shells. Backtracking to the stairs, we're told to use our sniper rifle to take care of the archer, but we can't because we just spent all our money on the bowgun and we were never told to purchase a sniper rifle. So, like the TMP, we move on while now prioritizing purchasing it as soon as possible since it's now been mentioned in the guide. Moving back down the stairs, we find another chest with some TMP ammo and also take out a red caped enemy, which causes plenty more enemies to spawn. Going back across the walkway, we take a right, and then finally a left to get to the final enemy guarding the gate. All we have to do is shoot him to get the gate to open, and we're free to move on. The guide says the treasure boxes aren't really worth our time, but at the last minute, it tells us it is worth it to head to the center of the maze to grab a gold bangle from the fountain, and then we can exit the courtyard and loot the bedroom before following the outer balcony to the exit. In the external hall, we shoot the shielded enemies with our TMP before turning the corner to quickly eliminate the archers surrounding the fountain. We continue south only to take out the remaining foes and then head back to grapple our way into the locked room. We take out the enemy and collect the spoils to include a hand grenade, a yellow herb, shotgun shells, and most importantly, the golden hourglass. We leave the room and head south to find a merchant, but the guide says he has nothing new for us here, so we move past him to the Last Supper area. We use the TMP to take out the initial 4 enemies before heading into a similar scene from the main game where we become trapped in a cage with a deadly Garrador. We concentrate on getting out the door as soon as possible and are told to eliminate all the enemies before we can head back to the center and place our fancy golden hourglass in order to open the door to the next room. Leon is in a bit of a tight spot in the next room, but we're a super spy and we can't blow our cover, so we head down the walkway, fending off the foes as necessary until we get to the next door and watch the gruesome scene we all know from a much different point of view. Although Lewis will be missed, we have to head to the island in Chapter 4. In Chapter 4, Wesker is sure to tell us that while we were off trying to collect the Plaga sample, he ordered Krauser to assassinate Leon in spite of us not having a chance to do it ourselves yet. So the whole chapter will be revolving around us rushing to save Leon from Krauser. The first step in Chapter 4 is to accidentally do the first whole half of the chapter on your Be Right back screen because you had a couple of drinks and forgot to change it back after you get back from the bathroom. So after having plenty of practice doing this part, we zoom through it on the money round. We talk to the merchant and stock up on first aid sprays per the guide and head to the side room on the left, where we take out the enemies and grapple up on each respective side for a hand grenade and other items. We exit here and take a left, trying to mostly sneak up on the enemies so we can take them out with an explosive barrel. Moving to the left again, we run into 5 fairly aggressive enemies we have to take out without letting them get too close. Outside, we hide in the entryway to take out the ground enemies to help avoid shots from the archer, and then jump out to use the sniper we still don't have to take him out because the guide specifically had us prioritize the first aid sprays. There's a velvet blue on the floor, and before we head on towards the sniper, we head the opposite direction and use our grapple gun to reach the scaffolding, climb through the vent to kill the giant enemy in the shaft, and drop down to obtain the Golden Link's treasure item. Then climb over the boxes to make our way. The whole goal of the battleship area is to sink it using the cannons surrounding it. After we reach the end of the pier, the first set of guns appears and starts firing at us. We stay still and focus on the enemies in front of us and wait for a break in the firing to move forward and get the blue activation key. We run between shots to work our way back to the first gun and destroy the 3 turrets, causing the elevator between the ship and the pier to activate. Run back towards the area where the blue key was located and climb up the ladder and hop on the elevator, and while we ride it we try to pop some of the sniper enemies as we cross, but keeping our ammo conserved as well. The guide just says to climb up as soon as possible, so we skip the enemies and head up the ladder to the exit door where 5 more gun turrets appear. We stand still as the one in front of us fires to our right and then back up to activate our grapple hook so we can reach the red activation key, and then grapple again across to the pier side to access the turret. All the guide says is we have 3 minutes to escape and leaves it to us to get back to the other side and to the merchant, where we're told to get more first aid sprays if necessary. In the underground area, we make our way to the ground floor to be met by a lot of enemies that we use the explosive barrel to take out. We pick up a velvet blue under the bridge, climb up and head right to get the greenstone of judgment for our golden links, and turn around and go the opposite direction until we hit a second bridge and continue on to finish the area. In the old church, we backtrack some to the ruins of the bulldozer crash from Leon and Ashley. We find the redstone of faith and a yellow herb. We are told to save the typewriter here by the guide. In the next room, we head down the stairs, being careful of the enemies that may charge us. We grab the green herb at the bottom and open the door, following the path until we hit the steps, which we go up to find an item in the locker, and then back downstairs, and to the right to exit. In the next area, we can hear Leon and Krauser grunting from their knife fight, but before saving him, we very importantly pick up a velvet blue, and then grapple up to save Leon. We have to fire in time by the way of a QTE to save Leon, and from there, the rest of the cutscene goes the same as the main game until we close out and head into the boss rush that is Chapter 5. In Chapter 5, Wesker is counting on Sadler and Leon to duke it out to the death. Ada doesn't want Leon to die, but our whole goal had been to obtain the sample, so we're gonna go for both. We talk with the merchant here and finally purchase the coveted sniper rifle to please the god gods and move on to meet some gunners. He drops a first aid spray, and we can also find a velvet blue near his perch and a blue eye after grappling onto it. We continue on and climb up a ladder to our left to get a green and yellow herb before coming down to cross the bridge into a room where we become trapped after an enemy throws an explosive barrel at the entrance. About a dozen or more enemies drop down, and we just have to survive the battle and specifically use a flash grenade if they get too close. The door opens and we immediately shoot the explosive barrel to take out foes at the end of the pier. We go up the staircase and take the pulley to the other side, picking up the hand grenade, and then shoot the very dangerous sniper below us before jumping down and hitting the switch to exit. We all know and love this area, but it's a bit different this time around with Ada. We are told to take out the visible enemies as soon as we gain control and then go up the ladder to the south. We shoot the snipers using the metal as cover and work our way across the balcony to the right. The guide mentions that both sides are guarded by huge gunners and notes that going to the right side first seems easier. But other than that, all it says is to hit the switches, move to the next level, so that's simply what we do. At the temple entrance, we run into the man who killed our boy Mike and take him out for some sweet revenge and also more bowgun bolts. It's important that we stockpiled all of these we can because we're going to need them very soon. We grab a yellow herb from the crash site and then head to the next area. In the catacombs, Ada gets her fantasies fulfilled to an extent before she realizes she might actually die and tells Leon to get it together before moving on her own once again. In the penitentiary, we're told to purchase any last minute items from the merchant, and that's all, so we head into the first of the final fights. After coming down the stairs, we run into Krauser, after he's already taken a loss from Leon. We are told to aim low with the TMP to try to hit his legs for all 3 rounds. This is by far one of the worst strategies I've seen come out of these guides. This is just harder than it has to be, and you better be good at dodging Krauser's attacks. The guy seems to think that the need to dodge his attacks will rarely happen, though. After he's finally down, we grapple to a nearby ledge and find a butterfly lamp that we can sell to the merchant at the other side of the ledge before heading to the next area. While Leon is saving Ashley, we save Leon by shooting some explosive barrels and locking ourselves in with the beast himself, Sadler. We start off on the second floor and are told to pump at least 100 rounds of our TMP into Sadler to get him to transition to his next phase. The guide just says to dodge any attacks and that Sadler is now only weak to the bowgun, so that's all we use for the rest of the fight. Although it seems we defeat Sadler, we still get captured and fast forward to the final battle where we must assist Leon by tossing him the special rocket launcher. We run through the scaffolding as quickly as possible as the guy says we shouldn't stop and fight so we don't run out of time. Once we grapple across and toss down the rocket launcher, we've officially completed separate ways exactly as Capcom intended. But don't forget, we've still got Assignment Ada to tackle. Assignment Ada is a very short game mode with lots of enemies and a very clear-cut goal to travel around the island as Ada and collect 5 Plaga samples. We're equipped with a Punisher, TMP, and semi-auto rifle to get the job done, and I'll just let you know the guide leaves a lot to be wanted. There's not a lot said here. At the beginning, it tells us not to worry about killing every enemy and to proceed to the next areas as soon as possible. To start off, while infiltrating the beach area, we're told to avoid toppling enemies off the side into the water to conserve ammo. Once we climb the ladder, we crawl through the vent duct to get inside the building. Now that we're inside, we're told to check our in-game map to show us that all the Plaga samples are shown there for us, and the guide simply says to obtain them all and kill the enemies guarding them. So I took that as a kill all enemies in a room with a Plaga sample in it. We collect the first 3 Plaga samples completely on our own, as the guide doesn't mention anything until we get to the research lab Plaga sample. We're told to defend ourselves from the enemies that lock down the room once we collect it and then operate the security console to unlock the doors. At the communications tower, we run into Krauser and are told to use any remaining hand grenades and the previously stated TMP strategy to defeat him. Like I already said, I despise this strategy, but we do defeat Krauser once again and obtain the final Plaga sample from him and head up to the tower so Ada can call in her ride, allowing us to complete Assignment Ada exactly as Capcom intended. Assignment Ada done. A terrible time for Assignment Ada, dude.
Punctual. I like that. Is Krauser there?
He's dead.
Pity. But after all, just another expendable grunt. Thanks to you, however, Umbrella's one step closer to its re-establishment. And once it is, there will be significant changes in our world.
You know, looking at this credit scene, I just want to make it very clear that Ada Wong can step on me. She can do that.